So I'm gonna do this video. I've been putting this video off, and I'm trying to look at the camera, but that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna keep getting distracted here. Um, so basically, as of I think it was December 6th. I think it was like December 6th or so, like 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yeah, it was like December 4th, December 6th. I think I was evicted from my place in 73 Mastic Boulevard, which was really interesting. Once that happened, I realized that the sheriff that was doing the eviction is one of the only people who knew that my father worked for the Secret Service, because he told me straight to my face years prior. The one of the safest places to go to, I thought, where like between bouncing around with cabs trying to go and get in touch with the FBI and let the FBI know what the fuck was going on, mentioning my bank account that I can't get access to, and even as of this is the end of January, a few days before February 2022. The point being is that nobody knows what's going on with my credit. My credit is seemingly, my credit scores are seemingly being blocked from even the credit bureaus themselves. This is one of the reasons I called the FBI, because this has been going on for fucking forever, like forever, and it's bullshit. This is bullshit. So when I realized that the officer, the sheriff that was doing the eviction from the house, that I realized this is the house where I had been kidnapped when I was 4, or kidnapped to when I was 4, with my little cousin Matthew, who was 3. And then this was also the same house at 73 Mastic, where I was almost killed when I was about 17. The officer that's doing the eviction tells me that the squirrel with the human foot bone, there's no record of. My house being shot at, there's no record of. There's no record of anything that I'm saying. I go to call my credit company, I go to call the company that checks into my credit. They're telling me that they can't check my credit. Call the credit bureaus. I call the credit bureaus, they look up. They're saying there's no history whatsoever, which is bullshit. Cars that I've bought, things that I've bought, bills that I've paid, nothing, no credit history. Which they're saying is pretty odd. So then I called the Federal Reserve, because I'm just like, what the fuck? And it's like, all I'm getting there is a fucking message. So I don't know how they work, but I will say that, it's pretty interesting there. A few days ago, I realized I had gotten jumped a few weeks ago. My phone, I shut off. The phone I got back since then, but then on top of that, I got another brand new phone, the one that I'm using to record this video. And what's interesting is right before I got jumped, I checked into my credit, and my credit good enough to going out, and people were able to pick up on that, but not other things, as far as why I have no credit history. So that's very interesting there, and I'll get to why that's interesting later. The lady I just spoke to today, talking to me about, you would want to go, if this is all what's going on, these are the people you want to call. So what's really interesting is I've already had contact with those people, which is the Social Security people, and they haven't brought any of this up to me, but it's all making a lot of sense that direction. But so yeah, so the bottom line is that the person that knew that my father was Secret Service was the same man who evicted me from the place where I had been kidnapped and almost killed, right? And then I'm sitting there going back in my head, and I'm like, where is that name from again? Bingo. After I got evicted, I ended up staying close to where I knew that there was some sort of cameras or something there. One of the main places that I stayed was up near the Ronkonkoma train station. And as I'm spending some time up there, and I'm saying to myself, like, holy shit, man, and then it all sunk into my head where the first time that I had met Officer Lyons, his son, he told me that he told my father, this is years ago, when I was young, you know, he's the one that tells me my father was Secret Service, right? His boy was fucking jealous of me, okay? Like on a fucking sicko note, okay? Yo, the kid says, oh, he's gonna show me around, right? He gets in my car. I go pick him up. He gets in my car. We drive like a block away. This is very close to where the train station, Ronkonkoma train station is. But I don't know exactly what block we were on now. I just knew how we got there. I don't even know if there was signs saying which block back then, but I was able to bring and I'll get to that in a second. So he gets in my car, and freaking, I think I had my mother's station wagon at the time. And he tells me to park the car in a very, very specific, like right here. Like not like a foot more, not like a foot less, like right here. As we're sitting there, a freaking, what seems like a pebble fucking hits the windshield, the front windshield, and cracks the fucking windshield. The fucking kid, Officer Lyons' boy, starts going, oh, you tried to have me assassinated. I'm sitting there like, is this guy a fucking psychopath? I was ready to kill him right there. I was like, let's just do this, you fucking like, this is what's showing me around? Hey, Officer Lyons, you wanted the fucking truth? This is the truth, okay? Your boy tried to set me up. At that point, I don't know if that was my real father that stepped in, because once he found out what happened, somebody stepped in, and he identified himself as the person who was my father, even if maybe he wasn't my father. So the point fucking being is that then that man asks me directly what happened. I tell him the kid got into the car here, we went over here, he told me to go here, and then he told me specifically to park right there. He goes, Anthony, he goes, that's where they took the fucking shot from. I'm saying, what shot? This motherfucker had a fucking dude with a pump 22 rifle in the woods, waiting to fucking take a shot at himself, at him. And then he was trying to flip it around and say that I tried to have him assassinated. That's part one. So then, I don't know, a few months go by. The whole fucking Paul Flores thing, I'm not sure if that's already, at this point, I'm making a video in a place I do not want to make a video. Oh man, this is fucking crazy. So the point being is that I don't know if it was around about the time or after the Paul Flores thing, but there was a girl that approached me in school. Now, around the same time that this whole fucking situation goes down, shortly after that situation that I just described, the whole, oh, you tried to have me assassinated, bullshit. There is a girl that just that's just starting in school at the time. The freaking, right before, like, she's like, oh, hi, Anthony, blah, 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 blah. I like you, you're cute, you're gonna be my boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. And she was talking to me in school. She said, although her name was not Richardson, that I knew the Richardsons and that she was related to them somehow, some way. I do not remember, and I remember the only other thing I remember is her saying, you have to guess my name. Like, or it's one of the names that you really like, blah, blah, blah. Which at this point I'm thinking, like, okay, what I remember, you know, I like, in other words, like, there's only a few names that possibly come to mind at that point, which is either Denise, or what the fuck was it? Denise, Lisa, what the fuck? Something else, something, you know, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, the point is I don't know, I've thought about it, I don't remember the girl's name, but I also looked for around about that time period because that would have been around about a fucking 96. Like, that would have been, what, like, right around about 90, the beginning of 97. So then the Paul Flores thing probably didn't just go down yet. Because then fucking 96, 97. So it could have been 97 into fucking, the fucking point being is that I looked around about that time. I remember SantaCon. Like, I remember the fucking, like, and they had that, it wasn't around Christmas time, the Santas that were all out and everything. The point I'm saying is that around about that same time, a few months go by, this kid is up at this fucking bus stop getting a blowjob, right? From what looks like a pretty girl. Fucking, I'm sitting there fucking driving around with people. He goes, oh, why don't you go get a blowjob too? And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, nah. I was like, oh, you're not this and that, blah, blah, blah. Fucking, yeah, sure. So I go and, I don't even want to fucking talk about this shit. The fucking point is that fucking, that was a setup too. But that's a setup that backfired in the little punk's face. Of course, not when it comes to the cover-up and the police cover-up and the fucking corruption, right? Just not for the boy who's the son of fucking, like, American Secret Service. Only for the fucking police and the fucking ethically minded, right? The fucking kid tells me, oh, go get a fucking blowjob, blah, blah, blah. Well, you want to know something? You want to know how that backfires? The fucking girl at that point in time, because then he starts pulling some dumbass shit saying, oh, he tried to do this to this girl. You want to know the best part is that, and which is the worst part, it's absolutely the worst part. Right after he pulls that shit and brings my name up in a fucking police report, and his name is obviously in a police report at that point, what happens? The fucking girl that just came to the fucking school, the new girl that came up to me and fucking was like, Anthony, you gotta guess my name. I'm gonna be your girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. I'll give you a hint. It's one of the names that you like. And my name is blah, blah, blah. Even if it's not fucking, even if I'm not related to a Richardson, I am, even if my name isn't Richardson, it's related to a Richardson. So this girl, wow. I don't remember this girl's freaking name. All I know is that right after the second time that kid tried to set me up, Officer Lyons' boy tried to set me up. Wow, man. This girl gets murdered up at the fucking Ronkonkoma train station bus stop. In this fucking same exact spot where fucking this motherfucker tried to set me the fuck up only fucking a week and a half prior. A week, 2 weeks prior. For a second time. Wow, man. Wow, man. So then, fucking jealous of my dick. They're jealous of my penis. It's crazy. It's what's even worse is that's exactly what it is that it comes down to shit that's like fucking wow, bro. Wow, bro. I'm trying to remember other things, and I don't want the people around me that are in this house, I do not want them hearing this shit. Because I shut down this whole fucking place too. And up the road, see, at 4 years old, I was kidnapped and brought to a house in Mastic. Up the fucking road from where I am now is the first time that I actually got bit by a black widow. At around, I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. Because, and this is what I'm saying, I'll get into those stories in a second. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let me make sure that I'm remembering everything. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, like, it's really interesting that the guy that evicts me from the place that I'm at in Mastic is this guy. Before the moratorium of January 15th, 2022, they had to make sure that I was out of that house so that they could get me in this house. And then my family would have let me freeze for fucking 10 days in a fucking row. Only to fucking, and I'm sitting there like, you know what? I don't need to go anywhere. Fuck that. And they were like, oh, but we'll bring you. And it's like, boom. And then all of a sudden this bullshit place opens up. Bullshit. I shut this fucking place down. This whole fucking place down. And the people that they're putting here, it's like, give me a fucking break. And then to think, at around 7 or 8 years old, I'm sitting there walking a couple weeks ago, and I'm walking, and I remembered all this. I'm trying to put it all fucking in. I'm saying to myself, wow. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, I'm taking a walk with my sister, my 1 or 2 cousins that are with me. One of her older kids, and then I think one of my other sister kid. My 2 cousins. I'm taking a walk with my sister or my aunt and my 2 cousins. And there's this woman, and she's near the sewer. And on the way back, and we were tired. I mean, we were really freaking tired. We were little kids, and it was a long walk. We were tired. My sister is walking with all of us, and we're trying to catch on the next bus. And there was a woman standing there, a black woman in a fur coat. And a fucking, it's like she's like, can you get my ring that fell down into the sewer? Now this is going back to like 1989, I would say 1989. Wow, man. You know, like 1988, 1989. All I remember is that freaking, I mean, it could have been like 87, you know? I know that my two cousins were big enough to walk, but they were, yeah, I mean, they were still younger than me. I don't know. You know, I wasn't very big. But come to find out that that was another setup. The woman was, this wasn't the first time that what I'm about to say was taking place out here. The woman, she asks us to go try to reach for her ring down the sewer. She dropped her ring down the sewer. And my sister's by herself with us three. And she's like, oh, well, you know, we really got to try to. So we're like, oh, we'll try. So we're trying to reach the ring that's down the sewer. Just as that goes down, all these fucking cars pull up. And if I'm correct, like other cars pull up, like this whole thing gets put to a fucking stop. Okay, but we are about to be kidnapped, all of us, at that point in time. What they were doing was they were kidnapping the children, and then they were fucking the children, and then they were breeding the children, and then killing the children. And that's the way, that was the initial step of how it was going down. They would see somebody walking with their kids. They'd ask the freaking kid to help try to get the ring out of the sewer, and while the kid was distracted, that's when they would fucking roll up in fucking there was you know, like I want to say caravans, you know what I'm saying, full of cars. So then if that's not bad enough, what's even worse is my one greedy sister, my one greedy aunt, right? She's being told the story, and she's like, oh, let's go back there and try to get the ring. Now, they're telling me, do not let Anthony go near this place. What the fuck? What do? They bring me to another place, telling my mother they're gonna bring me to another place. They end up bringing me to this fucking place where the fucking incident had just happened only 2 weeks prior. During that incident, right, because they're going for the ring, this fucking green ring that was down in the fucking sewer. So didn't even know if it was real. My mother's telling them, stay the fuck away from this place. Stay the fuck away from this place. Do not bring Anthony here or you'll never fucking watch Anthony ever again. Blah, blah, blah. And sure as shit, this is what they fucking, the one sister's very greedy. Oh, we got people watching, you know, which there was people fucking watching, damn straight. There was this, I don't even know what to think of this situation at this point in my head, because I am not in a great fucking spot. So I'm reaching for this ring, even though I don't want to. I want to get the fuck out of there as fast as possible, right? I'm reaching for the ring. The cars pull up again to kidnap the kids. This time, way more cars pull up. Now these two sets of cars are about to fucking pull guns out on one another, okay? Why these people are arguing with these people, and these people are arguing with these people about what the fuck is happening. In the middle of all that, all of a sudden, my body starts to go into so much freaking pain, it's not even funny. My entire body, almost all at the same time. Like I'm talking within like 3 seconds, like I felt the pain, and it was really, really like a lot of pain. And I'm like, excuse me. I am like, I mean, it was like weird how I was very calm at first, but the pain was so intense, and it felt like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, I don't remember. All I remember is that it started in one spot, and I mean, within like 3 seconds later, like it was my entire body, and then it was like thud, thud, and then it was like thud, thud, and it was just, it was excruciating pain. Like I was like, I'm like, something's wrong. And the fucking one, I remember the one dude that showed up to kidnap the children. He's like, oh, what? This kid's fucked up in his head, blah, 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 blah. And the other kid's like, Anthony, what the fuck? The other guy's like, Anthony, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It started over here. And they see a bite mark, right? So when I was reaching for the ring, I get bit by a black widow. The guy picks me up, scoops me up, and puts me in. And I still remember this. It was a fucking Stingray Corvette. I remember it was like, or fuck, I don't know if it was a Stingray. There's two cars that are bouncing around in my fucking head. It doesn't matter. The fucking point being is that because it only had two seats. The point being is that I remember looking up through the glass and everything, on the way to the hospital, this guy started to drive me to the hospital, and he's like, Anthony, stay with me. And it's like, it's okay, God's here. I started speaking shit that was biblical shit coming out of my fucking mouth. And the dude that was with me driving me to the wow. I just remember him saying, stay with me, Anthony, stay with me. And he's like, just fight it. And it was it was, my body was in so much fucking pain at that point. It was it went into over pain where there is no pain at that point, And everything started becoming very drifty and black and white. I started seeing a lot of black and white and shadows at that point because I was dying. And the bottom line is that, I know that the guy that was driving me to the hospital, he was driving up these roads as fast as he could, and then he's like, stay with me, Anthony, stay with me. He's like, do you trust me, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, dude, I don't even want to say what he did at that point, but we took a back way to we went down a few crazy roads, roads that weren't even roads, fire trails that led to the Brookhaven Medical Center. After that happened, I remember bits and pieces of waking up and not waking up in between then, and speaking all this fucking shit, I remember, dude, yo, I remember some crazy shit that was being said. I was speaking some real Bible shit, it's okay, and it was crazy shit. And then I don't remember very much for a few days after that. I think I went into a fucking coma, or I don't know, but that was very interesting. I remember the shit that was being said back and forth, how do you not recognize one of your own people, and blah, blah, blah. And it was some crazy shit, you would hurt these kids and blah, blah, blah. It was some crazy shit. And being rushed to the hospital the way that it was, and the stuff that was said, and then the other stuff that was said, and the fucking point being is now I'm out here, and it's and then years later, after all of that, shit goes down, and shit gets shut down, and it's give me a fucking break. You know what I'm saying? Just give me a fucking break with the bullshit. I'm so fucking sick of the bullshit. It's not even funny. Just that whole fucking situation that I was just speaking about prior to that, the one that took place up at the Ronkonkoma train station, and there's no articles about this. I went back and looked at least somewhat, and couldn't find no fucking articles about the girl that died up at the bus stop near the Ronkonkoma train station, trying to figure out what her name was. The only thing that I can remember, because we didn't speak very much inside school, was her turning around and saying, Anthony, I like you, you're gonna be my boyfriend, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm related to the Richardsons, even though my name's not Richardson. And my first name, I want you to guess, blah, blah, blah. I think you can, but she's like, it's one of the names that, I'll give you a clue, it's one of the names that you like, blah, blah, blah. and that girl supposedly gets murdered and fucking killed up at the fucking Ronkonkoma bus stop only fucking 2 weeks or so after the second time that fucking kid, Lyons. And and that's the worst part, is that I think his name was Chris Lyons, just like my friend's name was Chris Lyons. Wow, bro. And guess who's in control? Guess who's one of the people in the yearbook committee? Chris Lyons. Wow. 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 I don't trust anybody anymore. That's it. And as far as this diamond goes, just so we're clear about this too, this freaking diamond right here, okay? Just so we're clear about the diamond too, is that, you know, it's bad enough that I'm thinking about the bags full of millions of dollars that were put down the sewer, and the bag of rocks that I heard about. Didn't see those. I don't remember seeing those in a bag, but I do remember hearing about those. Like, I remember hearing about those being put down there along with the money that I definitely seen, right? And I'm saying, oh, that's one setup. And then there was the other fucking thought in my head, like, of what this could be doing to set me up. But then there's what really is fucking another setup that I came across. And this has been in my back of my head for about a week or so now, a week and a half. Since the day basically I got jumped, there was a lady I bumped into, and when I was telling her, I'm telling her a whole lot of shit, talking to her about some friends that have passed away and all this, and that she knew too, and it's like, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, this is a fucking setup. I'm like, oh yeah, isn't it kind of funny I found this outside the front of my house. When she looked at this, and when I described this to her and said, oh, it's in the shape of a fucking skull, and I'm like, you won't even imagine how much it weighs. And when I said how much it weighs, she was like, get the fuck away from me. And then she's like, wait a minute. And then she's like looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you getting mad at for? Well, before we left, she hugs me. I get a flash memory, right? The first time that I met her was 20-something fucking years ago. Because something horrible took place 20-something fucking years ago to her. I was brought right to her to be like, is this the kid that you're talking about? She says no. Then, now, this I only found 2 years ago. I've known this person, I've known this woman for 15 years, just about 15 years or so. The first time I met her, though, was almost 25-something years ago. And this was one of the things that were described during that incident. So that's set up number 2, if not number 3, because I already went into setup number 1 and 2, which are just fucking, the one is definitely. The second one might have just been a theory, but this, number 3, is definitely fucking 102. So it's really funny that all this shit is going down all at the same fucking exact fucking time. The only people that have the fucking skills to do that is, and that's what I'm saying, it's bullshit. This is bullshit. And I can't even check my fucking credit. It says that I'm deceased. Oh, and then I look at my freaking emails, like old emails, and I'm saying, oh shit, look at this, son. The emails that are registered to my name, which I'm still getting these alerts from these emails, they are so old, and these are like hard to get emails, okay? Like you're not going to get fucking, you're not going to get these fucking emails. And somehow, some way, these emails are registered to my name using a fucking almost dead to fucking life search engine. It is extremely rare to get your fucking, to get certain specific words. It is extremely fucking rare that you would have an email with that word for your email, especially one of those old ass emails. So I find it real interesting that when I looked at some of the fucking emails that are listed underneath and abbreviations of that email that are listed underneath or somehow are being registered to me, wow. Under my Grim Hollow email, wow. And I can't check my credit scores. Did I leave anything the fuck out? Other than fucking some of the people that are surrounding me. I'm sleeping in a fucking, this is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy. Where's fucking El Chapo, man? Yo, El Chapo, you got some cocaine for me, bro? Seriously, fuck this bullshit, bro. You wonder why my head was fucked up? Yo, could somebody please show this video to El Chapo before he fucking dies, bro? Could somebody get this fucking video to El Chapo, my fucking boy at the bus stop that day? You know what I'm saying? Hey, El Chapo, listen, man, I feel bad, bro. Listen, at the same time, I'm not that fucked up in my head, other than the fucking shit that's been made me fucked up, alright? Been done made me fucked up in the head. You know, this is fucking, like, I'm fucked up. He's like, but you? And I was like, what the fuck about me, bro? It's like, it's just, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, what up, El Chapo? Fuck this shit, man. I can't check my fucking credit scores, but they want me to look for a place to live. The fucking credit bureaus cannot check my fucking credit. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? So it did not compute. Yeah, so that's oh, and one of the last places where I seen the officer's son, I have to walk past those houses all the way fucking all the time. All the time. If I want to go to the store's almost 2 miles away. Guess what? I gotta walk past these places all the time. When that fucking incident went down, where I got bit by the fucking Black Widow, grandmother spider. Grandmother spider. I remember that poem being given to me, and I remember also meeting Bruno Mars around about that time period. We were both very little kids at that point. People got fucking pissed off because I taught people things that they didn't fully know. Only certain people knew things that I taught people. And I didn't even realize what I was teaching them. And other people got fucking pissed. That's all I gotta say about that. I hope this clarifies a few things for Bruno Mars. The videos that I've made from the talks that we've had, because I didn't even realize who the fuck you were when I met you later on, the first time, later on, and later on again. I think we met about, what, 3 times? At least twice. The truth is, not everybody knows everything, even the other side. Only God knows. Because as much as God is here, God is not in this place. The ones who imitate. I'm sorry to all my friends, you know? I love yous. I love every single one of yous. The ones that weren't famous, the ones that became famous, the ones that every freaking friend I ever had, or even remotely. There was a person telling me a story the other day. I'm sitting there like, holy shit. This kid tells me a story where he got kidnapped. I was like, holy shit. I remember this. I remember him. I remember what fucking sort of went down. And I'm saying, holy shit. Because there were so many FBI and CIA fucking agents, and all the kids were being used as bait. That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of fucking horrible shit that was going down on Long Island a lot of the time. And people just didn't see it all the time. Like, they might have heard about it, they might have known about it, but they didn't see it all the time. And nowadays, it's like those are just some of the stories. And I'm saying, you know, and it's like, just like, you know, it's like I'm thinking the time that I met Bruno Mars, and it's like the first time, it's like we were so little. That's what I'm saying. It's like I was told that because of the shit that my sister pulled, that freaking, like, I was never gonna see my little nephew, my real little nephew, Michael, ever again. I brought this up to my cousin Michael. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't have a lot of memories from that time period and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, you probably wouldn't. You were 2. Because me and him are about, or close to about 5 years apart, and I'm thinking this happened around about 7 years old, 8 years old. So maybe he was, I'm thinking honestly, he was maybe a year and 8 months old when the freaking incident where I got bit by the black widow spider. It makes me wonder to myself, because around about the same time I met Demi. Around about the same time that I met fucking Bruno Mars, and it's kind of weird, because it was like I didn't even bring that incident up on camera yet, and Demi posted some stuff, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, holy shit, I remember that. I remember the fucking poem. I remember the freaking, and then she gets this sick looking, it is truly sick looking tattoo on her head, and I'm like, wow, that's right. It's like the memories were already there. I just didn't make the video yet. It's not really like I want to make videos every fucking day, and it's like, but it's like, it's just weird. I'm wondering to myself what really it's all about sometimes, because it's like I never went out to hurt any of these people or anybody. I don't like seeing other people hurt other people, and I don't like thinking that fucking, you know, this is the way that fucking life has to be. Bullshit, man. Bullshit, man. You know, it's like here's the guy that told me that my father was Secret Service, evicting me from a house You wanted the truth. He wanted the truth. The truth is, I don't know who the fuck offed some girl up at the bus stop. All these fucking lookalikes, all the fucking magic involved, and then I remember the freaking person that was brought to my front lawn, and the other person that was brought to my front lawn, and the fucking body swap that took place, supposedly. But I didn't even know how much of that shit to fucking believe. But the woman that was up at the fucking, and I left that part out, there was a woman up at the bus stop, and up at the train station stop in Mastic, right after I got evicted. This woman appeared at the bus stop, and she was talking to me, and she was wild, but she started talking to me about all this like mystical shit, and I'm like, wow, she knows what she's talking about, but at the same time, it looked like she was slightly losing her mind or something, and I was like, oh man, and she's like, oh, I want to do this to you right now, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, hey, we'll settle for a hug instead, you know what I'm saying? It's like, get better, that's what I'm saying. It's bullshit. The shit that's been being pulled behind my back, nah, fuck this shit, no way. The other main thing that the other major part to this video is what the woman that I got on the phone today turned around and said to me was about my fucking which the minute she said it, it's not like I didn't already think this in my head, but when she said it, it like kind of like really sunk in to what is possibly trying to transpire right now, and it has to deal with my IP address and my social security number. Give me a second. So anyway, when I called up one of the credit bureaus and started telling them what was going on, the woman that I spoke to, she turned around to me, and I think she switched me over to somebody else, and just as they or he or whatever switched me over to this other person, and they started listening to what I was explaining to them, and they were like, wow, that, she's like, I'm reading the notes here. Actually, it wasn't the credit bureaus. This time it was the people that check into the credit. And she goes, from all the notes that I see, and from what you just told me about the credit bureaus, she goes, why don't you look into if they've put a block, an actual block on your social security number itself. I said, what the fuck? I'm like, they can do that? And she's like, yeah, they can do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's really funny, because I've been down to Social Security, or I've called Social Security. I just had to be in touch with them about multiple different things over the past couple of weeks. Plus, I went down to another somewhat, governmental building who was in touch with them, and I said, it's really funny too. I said, what's really funny about that is that because it's what she says that triggers all the rest of what I'm saying right now. I said, it's really funny that, it's like I just had lost my ID, and these people had a copy of my ID, not once, they took like 2-3 copies of my ID before I ended up losing it, getting into the fight, losing the ID, right? I'm like, what's funny is that I went back there to get a copy of my ID, and the copy that they gave me of my ID was from the year 2011. And and I'm like, they kept telling me that. And she's like, that's funny. She's like, that sounds like they can't enter your information into the fucking computer system. If there's a block on my fucking social security number, that means that they can't access and update my fucking information into the fucking computer system. I said, why didn't you guys get an alert when it comes to my fucking driver's ID? Well, even though it's not a driver's ID, it's a New York ID. She's like, well, I don't remember if she said that was a little off or not. She's like, that's government. That could have something to do with it. But at the same time, freaking, we got certain alerts from certain people. So we are monitoring your credit. But when it comes to these government agencies, we don't exactly get 100% no. I don't remember what the fuck she said at that point, but she goes, the point is that basically that she's like, if they're putting a block on your social security number, you have to go down and explain this to Social Security and have them issue you a new social security number. I'm like, wow, that would make a lot of fucked up sense on the other side of things, that my social security number is the thing that links my fucking governmental, highly classified, supposed to be above top secret, above the president, IP address, my social and my fucking IP address link each other together, right? So wouldn't it be real interesting if that is exactly the truth, and that if I go down and try to switch my fucking social security number at that point in time, that would start to fuck with everything. Because then the IP address won't be registering exactly to me, right? Or would it? So you know what? This is really getting good. Stay tuned, everyone. Am I leaving anything out? Am I? I don't even know. Am I leaving anything out? Let's take a minute. Let's take a minute. Anybody needs this, that, blah, blah, blah. Can't check my credit, right? Because I'm food in. That's totally normal. Everything, this is even though even the credit bureaus turned around and said that wasn't completely normal. And then there's all the dead bodies, and then there's more dead bodies. Then they moved me to another fucking place, and then it's like, wow, this is just a fucking nightmare, bullshit situation. I'm just like, whatever, man. You know what? And then, of course, the cops are in on it, because there's no fucking way that it would go on for this fucking amount of time. And it's like, it's cool that fucking, the fucking cops are in on the fucking shit, because they're fucking one guy. He was pissed off because I wouldn't suck his son, the Officer Lyons' son, Chris Lyons. I think his name was Chris Lyons, but not Chris Lyons that I was friends with. He was pissed off because I wouldn't suck his dick. So then he had my fucking cousin suck my dick. I don't even want to say which cousin, but if I was to say which cousin, she's fucking a witchy cousin that's fucking super hot. And it was like, oh, well, that's great. I didn't even know that you were my cousin, but you can keep that up. That feels great. That's a wonderful thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but the whole thing is completely fucked. And he was pissed off because I wouldn't suck his dick. I'm not too much for the whole fucking, this is fucking ridiculous, man. Like, seriously, like, I just want to go get my fucking money and get the fuck away from all the crazy people that are going to fucking end up killing themselves. Seriously, really, really, really do. It's been nice talking to everybody, you know what I'm saying?